Hello everyone. I hope you're enjoying the SI UK fair today, and I hope you're finding it a very interesting and rewarding experience. We've got a lot of fantastic universities here, and I know that they're all dying to see you. My name's Guy Doughty, and I'm the Director of UK Operations here at SI UK. What I'm going to do today is talk to you about part of the application that many students find the most difficult part: writing a powerful personal statement, a statement that's going to add value to your application and hopefully, in a very competitive world, set you apart from the other applicants for that program. Well, now, one thing I definitely say is that it's always useful for someone to look over your personal statement and give you advice and guidance. And we think at SI UK that we are particularly well placed to do that role. We have literally years of experience and expertise in advising and placing students, and our staff is made up of a mixture of people like me, for instance, who have been in higher education as an admissions tutor and as an academic and as a manager for 30 years now. But also, most of our staff have themselves been international students and been through this very process. We've got a successful track record of placing students into all the UK higher education institutions, and we're the official representatives of many UK universities. We're now actually an official partner of Times Higher Education, and that gives us, we think, the credibility to be able to talk to yourselves about this particularly important aspect of your application. And one other thing that helps, we find a great deal, is that we have a multilingual team. We speak languages from right across the world. And so we're pretty sure that if you're feeling unsure about communicating in English, you'll be able to communicate with our staff in whatever language is most comfortable for you. So, what makes a powerful personal statement? Well, I think there are a number of factors that are involved in this. And I think most importantly, perhaps, is that a powerful personal statement will demonstrate your passion for the program or for the study area that you've chosen and your commitment to that. There'll be a number of ways that you're able to demonstrate this, and I'll go through those in a few moments. But passion and commitment coming throughout your personal statement is, of course, vitally important. Secondly, I think what makes for a powerful personal statement is that you need to be able to demonstrate your ability to successfully complete the program. That means that you need to be able to draw on your academic experiences or your professional experience to describe the skills that you gain through those things, so that you can persuade the admissions team who are reading your personal statement that you are someone who will benefit from this program and you are likely to complete it successfully. And thirdly, you want that little bit of je ne sais quoi. You want that little something that makes your statement stand out from all the others that a hard-pushed admissions tutor is trying desperately to read through. The structure that I'm going to describe to you below is one that is perhaps my favorite. There are, of course, other ways of doing it, but I think this is quite nice and straightforward. It gives you a good format in which to demonstrate your passion for the subject area, your commitment to that particular program. It gives you a good structure in which to demonstrate your academic and professional achievements to date, and it gives you an opportunity to add in what I said was that little bit of je ne sais quoi to make you stand out from your competitors. So, first of all, as with any good essay in higher education, perhaps, you need to have your introduction. And in your introduction, I think you want to be talking about your reasons for applying for that particular program, why you want to study that subject, and then how studying that subject will fit into your future academic and career goals. After that, you want to move into the body of the personal statement. And here, I think it's most useful to look at your academic interests, your academic achievements so far. So any qualifications that you've achieved, obviously high school if you're looking to study at undergraduate, and more likely undergraduate if you're looking to study at postgraduate level. And then, of course, any work or voluntary experience that you might have goes into this section of the personal statement. And most importantly, draw out the relevant skills and experiences that you've achieved from your academic study, perhaps, and certainly from your work experience or voluntary experience. Remember that all UK higher education institutions are very much focused around developing skills such as teamwork and problem solving. And so if you can demonstrate that you have some abilities in those areas, that always looks extremely good in a personal statement. Then after that, we move on to the conclusion. And by and large, if you're an international student coming to study in the UK, and particularly for the first time, then this should always include why you want to study in the UK. We know that you've got lots of choices, either your home country or perhaps other countries. And so you need to put in what it is about studying in the UK that interests you in particular. Then it's best if you can say why you want to study in particular universities. Obviously, if you're applying through the UCAS system, you have a number of choices, so this one isn't so useful to you. But if you're going on to postgraduate, you might be applying to one university for one course in particular. So make sure you say what has attracted you to that particular university. And then again, just at the end, you can restate how this program is going to achieve your career goals. And that, I think, is a basic and very effective structure for a personal statement. Okay, having looked at structure, now let's have a few words about content, and particularly helping you to avoid common mistakes that we've noticed so often over the years, and the things that really start to detract from a personal statement. So the first point I'd make is it needs to be the right length for whatever it is you're applying for. For instance, if you're doing a personal statement for UCAS, it needs to be 500 words maximum. You really don't want it to be much below 400 words. You need it to be more or less right up to the 500 words. But 500 words is not a lot of time. So you can't afford to waste anything in those sort of short personal statements. Every word's got to count. On the other hand, postgraduate programs often are little longer personal statements are required, maybe 700-800 words, maybe even up to 1,000 words, although that's quite rare. But whatever it is, make sure that you know what's expected of you and try to write very close to that limit, certainly not exceeding it. The second point I'd make is, in your language, be concise. Avoid waffle if at all possible. You haven't got many words, You can't really afford to waste them on waffle. And be very careful in your use of adverbs and adjectives. They tend to just be padding words that don't add an awful lot to your statement. Perhaps you should consider, if you're using, and this is particularly at postgraduate level, where you're using a particular example from your professional experience, say, you might want to make sure that you address this using the STAR method of dealing with examples. That is, you describe the situation, you describe the task that you had to take, you describe the actions that you took, and you describe the results, the things that you draw out of that experience. And if you're using examples, you'll find it very useful to bear that structure in mind as you're doing that. The next thing to consider, and it's perhaps something that I considered in reverse in the last slide, is bad structure. It really is important that you've thought about the structure of your personal statement. You don't want it to be wandering from one issue to another issue without a clear sense of where a particular paragraph is going or where a particular statement is going. So you really want to give good consideration to the overall structure. Beyond that, and it goes without saying, you must check and check and check again to ensure that your English is acceptable. You don't want spelling mistakes, and you don't want poor grammar if it can be avoided. Obviously, admissions tutors are used to dealing with international students and used to dealing with people who are working under pressure. So they are quite forgiving, but bad English just creates a bad impression. Finally, a particular pet hate, I'd say, don't say things you can't prove. So I've talked earlier about you need to show your passion and commitment for a particular subject area. Well, my tip would be, don't say things like, I've always dreamt of, or I've always wanted to be, unless you can demonstrate it. And it's extremely unlikely that you'll be able to demonstrate that you've always wanted to be an accountant, for instance. It's just not like that. So avoid those sort of statements. Throughout your personal statement, you should only put in things that you can actually demonstrate. So you can indicate a desire to work in health professions, for instance, by things you did at school or outside interests, perhaps that you'd been in the Red Cross or been a volunteer, something like that. You need to be able to demonstrate and prove things that you put in your personal statement. Well, thank you very much for listening, everyone. Now, hopefully that's been a little bit of help for you in terms of drawing up your personal statement. But if you have any queries about this or any other aspect of your application, or indeed your experience at the fair here, you may wish to speak to one of the SI UK consultants. You can do this very easily. If you look at the floor plan that you have, at the bottom of that floor plan, below the universities, is a button saying to speak to our consultants. If you click on that, we'll put you through to the most appropriate consultant. Oh, and one last thing. It's UCAS deadline coming up, and as is traditional for SI UK, we are having our UCAS deadline event, and we will pay your UCAS application fee if you come for help to an SI UK office. So please do contact us at our Regent Street office or come and see our consultants today. Once again, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the fair.